Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Marc's Broadcasting Corner, America's Real Heroes. I'm your host, Mark Jackson. I apologize that it's taken so long for me to release this video. I think that, or I feel that I needed to take the time to do what I needed to do to make sure I had the right subject in mind. There's so many different things that I need to talk about and need to share with you guys, but I can't do it in just one video, one podcast. First of all, I want to send thanks to President Trump for stepping up, doing what he needs to do, and showing how he is ready to bring forth the ass whooping that needs to be brought forward. Excuse me. I am tired of seeing politics and the deep state, Ultra or MK Ultra, and everyone that's the Illuminati and all these people who's trying to destroy America. As a Navy veteran, I speak for not only true veterans who have served this country to protect the freedoms that we have all taken for granted at one point in time. I think that it is time for us to finally show our support for what is true and what is supposed to be the real Constitution. I don't give a damn about what the leftists or the woke communities think. If you are not seeing what the power of America brings to the table for your freedoms, the same freedoms that you choose to take advantage of, that our American founders have brought to the table to give you those same freedoms. If you have not seen the truth behind what America brings, then you're just as blind as a fucking bat. I hate to say it that way. It is my mission to make sure that those people who have not only the conservative thinking, but the reality thinking, whether you conservative, liberal, or whatever, if you don't understand common sense, then you're an idiot. And I hate to call it out like that, but that's how it's going to be in today's podcast. You need to understand that there is more to life, more to your civil liberties. Excuse me. I'm having a hard time today when it comes on to talking, so my apologies. This is the first video of the new year 2023 that I have produced. It was my plan to release this video and produce this video at the beginning stages of the new year, but I had to take time to consider what I wanted to actually discuss. And today, I am discussing what I need to feel, what's on my heart. I believe that it is time for the American people to step up, whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, whether you're pescatarian, whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever your political concerns are, political race is, whatever. It's time for us to join as a people. If you're tired of living the way things have been going under this so-called administration, which we all know is the illegal administration. Just like those of us who live here in Arizona know that it is Kari Lake who is the actual legitimate governor. Katie Hobbs should not be in office and should not have been a part of the political slash election process. Her office should have disclosed the fact that it is a conflict of interest that she had anything to do with the election. And the fact that she threatened certain communities, certain counties, certain areas of federal offense because she was trying her best to make sure she got into office when she knew damn well that she had nothing to do with the winnings of the election, because it was the left and the leftist thinking who made it possible for her. Yes, we saw everything in court that Carrie Lake brought to the table. And the fact that Katie Hobbs decided to disclose or hold or withhold information that was vital to the case, that the judge would have made a better decision, which I think the judge was also paid off because he was bullshitting. He only heard the case because he wanted to make it look like, oh, well, the people have spoken. We want to make sure that everybody gets the rightful say. He heard everything everybody had to say, including those people who were involved in the election, step up and stand up and say that the election was fraudulent. And he still dismissed their claims. These are people who sworn under oath that they were part of the situation, part of the process that kept people from getting their votes counted. The fact that they even changed the font on the printers from 19 to 20 or from 20 to 19, whatever it was, to make sure that the ballots was not able to be registered through the system, that clearly shows disrespect to the voting process. And I am appalled as a Navy veteran, and everyone who served in the military, everyone who's a true patriot, who loves America, who loves our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our independence, should be able to say how appalled they were with all the actions. This idiot Fetterman in Philadelphia. I live in Arizona, and even I know that the election was stolen. What pisses me off is the fact that, and I hate to say this the way I'm going to say it, but if Dr. Oz has such a weak following that they allowed for Fetterman to take this fucking election, then something's wrong there. And I hate to say it, but those people whose election ballots were dismissed in Philadelphia, you guys need to step up and do what you need to do to assert your right for a recount, or bring a new election, which is one of the things that I propose to do here soon. I live in the Quad Cities of Arizona now. Used to live in Gruesome Newsom's area, but even he's an idiotic ass fucking governor, because he also decided to have the leftists coerce his so-called recall. It is that situation that no one seemed to challenge. You saw it on Real America's Voice. You saw it, that he stole that election, or the leftist people who's behind him, being that his auntie is Nancy Pelosi. Look, his whole in-laws decided to move to Florida and endorse DeSantis's political race because they got tired of the leftist bullshit. It pains me to say that, but it's all public knowledge. Now, to get away from that public realm, I want to talk about the Memphis, Tennessee thing. I don't know if it was Memphis, but the Tennessee situation with the 5 black officers who beat this man, Tyree, to death. You guys ought to be ashamed of your fucking selves. It is hard enough for black people in our community to choose and support one another. This is why I always say, I don't give a damn if you got a badge or not. Being a former military police officer myself and someone who has done personal bodyguard work, who's always been on the side of the law and backed the police department, I know a lot of police officers. I know a lot of sheriffs. I know a lot of people in law enforcement, first responders. Shame on you for treating that brother the way you did, because you was trying to prove something. It pisses me off that you went that route. You should have never taken it that far over a fucking traffic stop. You deserve what you get. If they call it a justified beating, then the people of Tennessee need to find you guilty. Need to find a way to make sure that that decision is overturned. This is why I keep saying it is sad that the black community, out of every race, every fucking race, it's the black community who jeopardizes and treats their own people less than they deserve. We have struggled, I don't know how many years, how many decades, centuries, over 400. No, now it's over 500 to 600 years of oppression. And the fact that you choose to keep our race down by persecuting each other and treating each other like shit, no respect, appalls me. I grew up in the hood, in Milwaukee, gang, drug infested areas. Black Gangster Disciples, Vice Lords, Latin Kings. I can't remember the name of the motorcycle gang, but we had all kinds of drugs. But there was moments where we all got together because we knew we had to. I don't know what it's like there now because I've been gone. I only go back to visit when it deals with my family. It is sad to me to see how many people across the nation, matter of fact, across the world, when it comes on to black people, and I'm saying this to you directly, I don't give a fuck what you feel or what you got to say, because it's ignorant shit. Grow the fuck up. Stop talking about how the white man has fucking persecuted you and kept you down. You kept yourself down. We have the same fucking legitimate aspects to be able to move better and provide a better life for ourselves. But you choose to stay in the hood because you don't want to educate yourself on what's going on. And that's where my problem is. Being that I'm from the hood my damn self, I chose to move and get a better life for myself. Yes, it's unfortunate that we have the same, that we don't have the same guidelines that we have to follow. It's a little bit harder, yes. But if you know what you're doing, you fucking do what you need to do, and you play the game with them. It's not kissing ass. It's not selling out. It's doing what you need to do to make a better life for yourself. And if you can't see that, then you're an ignorant ass motherfucking nigga. And there's a difference. I tell people all the time, there's a difference between black people and niggas. I use the word niggas, and I'm using it on this podcast to post it. Now, I might get backlash from it. I don't give a fuck about that because I can care less about what people think about me. But there's a difference. Black people, respectful black people who uphold the law, do what they need to do, go to work, make a living for themselves, appreciate shit. Niggas don't give a fuck because they too busy trying to act like, oh, I'm badass. Oh, I didn't have that upbringing to fucking go to school. I refuse to deal with the white man's laws. You have to deal with all the laws. It is the laws that protect us as a people. And you don't seem to understand that. Yes, they may have been written by our forefathers, by our our politicians that's in office. But unfortunately, these are the laws that also protect people. It's not a racial thing. You need to get away from that bullshit thinking. Stop fucking killing each other in the streets and learn how to respect each other as a people. That's the problem that we have in our community. You don't see that shit happening in the Jewish communities, in the Asian communities, in the Mexican communities. They all build their communities to fucking to rise and become something. A strong community of people. Unfortunately, the black community is the only race that can't seem to get that shit together. And I blame it on the motherfuckers who don't seem to understand the importance of it. If you cannot feel what I'm saying, then you're one of those ignorant ass motherfucking niggas. And I'm going to say it the way I'm saying it. I don't give a fuck about that shit. It's taken too long for me to build the life that I have become accustomed to. And it's not about selling out. It has nothing to do with selling out. It's about learning what you need to learn to live in the American society. If you can't get with that, again, you're a dumbass motherfucker. And you deserve to have the treatment that you get from law enforcement. I'm former law enforcement myself. Security, personal bodyguard, executive protection, special protection agent. And I know the laws inside and out no matter what state I'm in. And you guys need to understand the same thing. If you know the laws, which is why I tell everybody, I don't give a fuck where you live. You need to have a copy of the U.S. Constitution within your vehicle. If you're driving along the roads and you're doing illegal shit, you deserve to fucking get caught up and taken to jail. And you shouldn't have no bullshit reason to argue about it because you know you fucking up. You know firsthand you fucking up. And that's the problem. You don't want to admit when you fucking up. Trust me when I tell you, I've been there. And you need to understand that you are fucking up and you're making it even worse, which is why, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it, which is why a lot of the mainstream media and the so-called white elite don't have respect for our communities. It is their job to tear our communities down and make us look like we're ignorant. It is big business for these Fortune 500 companies, the government, and everyone that's in charge. The deep state, Illuminati, MK Ultra, it is big business for them to see the black community, the Latin community, even the trailer trash that they call white people that trailer trash. I don't look at that way. But it's big business for them to see us destroy ourselves. Hence the reason that they have all these pawn shops, all these different businesses that are for low-income communities. They bring in plenty of drugs. You know, that's another thing that you guys need to understand. It is our government that is the biggest drug dealers in the world. And this is all around the world. It's not just in our country. But it's our country who is such a big thinking establishment, How the fuck can they say that they have a war on drugs when they're the biggest drug dealers ever? You know why I say that? They got Big Pharma getting paid big time on everything from oxycodone to all kinds of drugs laced with fentanyl. And they try to make it seem like, oh, it's being brought into our country illegally. No, they're bringing this shit into the country. Hence the reason that our border down in the Mexico border is so wide open. We even have, what you don't seem to understand, it's not just the Mexican border. Our border in Canada has been infiltrated, but they don't talk to you about that. Everything that's coming out, everything that's being brought out has to do with our government allowing Big Pharma and all these different companies, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, who claim to have the people's best interests at heart. They're all the biggest drug dealers ever. And they got the nerve to try to arrest the small drug dealer who's just selling weed or just selling cocaine or whatever. I'm not saying that that's, okay. I'm just saying it's a form of bigotry. They have the audacity to try to make it look like, oh, we have a war on crime. A war on drugs, war on crime, all that. And they're the biggest drug dealers ever. I tell you what, if you ever get a chance to go to D.C. and you meet any congressman or representative of the House or whatever, you may run into those who are the straight ones, just like the ones who just been elected. Those are the straight, patriotic politicians that I trust. But there are those who have been in there for decades, 30, 40, 50 years, who have made it a career, all the way up to our Supreme Court, I hate to say it that way, who have been strung out on drugs for half their career, still doing drugs to this day. You think this is just the Bidens? It's not just the Bidens. It's everyone involved. That's rhinos, the leftists, the Illuminati, the deep state. They're all strung out on it. And if you think I'm bullshitting, check it out for yourself. There's a lot of stories out there. If you haven't downloaded the app for Real America's Voice, you need to. If you have a Roku TV, Samsung TV, and your app store has Real America's Voice on it, you need to download it. Because the mainstream media that you watch every single day, that local news, they're all owned, believe it or not, they're all owned by the deep state or someone in the so-called leftist community. That being said, I hope you guys can wake up to the reality. If you haven't woken up and you're still scared to believe what's going on out here in our community, then I pity you, because you're going to be the ones that they're going to take advantage of as long as they have power. This has been Mark Jackson, aka MJ, of America's Real Heroes. You have a great day. I'll get back to you on the next segment. I'll holla.